You bought one candle. Just one. Something small, something nice, sitting on your shelf. And now your couch looks wrong. Your pillows look wrong. The whole room looks like it's been waiting this whole time for you to notice how bad it actually is. You didn't change anything. You added one good thing, and somehow that one good thing made everything else look broken. This isn't bad luck. It isn't bad taste. It's something with a name, and it's been hiding inside human behavior for over 250 years. Let's go back to where it started. In 1769, a French philosopher named Denis Diderot received a gift from a friend, a beautiful scarlet dressing gown. Diderot was a serious thinker, one of the most influential writers in Europe, the man behind the Encyclopédie, a project that tried to catalog all human knowledge. He was not, by his own account, a man who cared about furniture. He put the robe on, and almost immediately he noticed something was wrong. Not with the robe, with everything around it. His old desk looked shabby next to it. His chair looked cheap. The tapestry on his wall, which he'd never thought twice about, suddenly looked like something a poor man would own. So he replaced the desk, then the chair, then the tapestry. One purchase pulled the next one behind it, like a rope tied to everything else in the room. By the end, Diderot had replaced nearly his entire study, and he wrote an essay about it, half amused and half horrified at himself, called Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown. He even wrote the line that explains the whole trap. The poor man can relax without a thought for appearances. The rich man is always under strain. For over 200 years, that essay was just a strange, funny story about a philosopher and his robe. Then, in 1986, an anthropologist named Grant McCracken read it differently. McCracken was studying how meaning moves through consumer goods, why people buy what they buy, and what one purchase does to the purchases around it. When he came across Diderot's essay, he realized it wasn't just an anecdote, it was a mechanism. He gave it a name, the Diderot Effect. McCracken's argument, laid out fully in his 1988 book Culture and Consumption, was this. The things you own aren't isolated. They exist in sets. What he called Diderot unities. Your phone, its case, your car, your kitchen, your wardrobe. Each is part of a small ecosystem that's supposed to match in quality and status. As long as everything in that ecosystem sits at roughly the same level, you don't notice it. You don't think about your phone case. You don't think about your desk. But the moment one item jumps to a higher level, a new robe, a new phone, a new candle, it doesn't just sit there looking nice, it exposes everything next to it. It turns invisible objects visible, and once you can see them, you can't stop seeing them. Here's the part that makes this stranger than simple vanity. McCracken pointed out that most of the time, people don't even let the disruption happen. We unconsciously avoid buying things that don't match what we already own, specifically to protect ourselves from this exact spiral. That's why a particular gift can feel oddly destabilizing, even a generous one. It's not that you don't like it, it's that you like it too much, and now it's rearranging your sense of what good enough means for everything else you own. There's a psychological engine underneath this, and it's older than McCracken's research. In 1957, psychologist Leon Festinger described something called cognitive dissonance. The discomfort we feel when two things we believe don't line up. I have good taste, and my desk is shabby cannot both be true once the new robe is sitting next to that desk. Something has to resolve. And it's almost always easier to buy a new desk than to convince yourself the old one is fine. This is also, by the way, why the Diderot effect doesn't just apply to fancy gifts. Researchers studying a related phenomenon, sometimes called the IKEA effect, after a study run by Michael Norton, Daniel Mochon, and Dan Ariely in 2012, found that people irrationally overvalue things they've built or customized themselves. Put those two effects together, and you get the full modern trap. You buy one thing, it makes everything around it look wrong. You replace those things too, and then you value the new set so much you're primed to defend the whole system the next time something doesn't match. Now think about how this plays out today, because it's not subtle once you see it. You buy new running shoes, suddenly your gym clothes look old. You buy a new case, suddenly the phone looks cheap, the charger looks ugly. The apps on the home screen look cluttered and outdated even though nothing about them changed. You repaint one wall. Now the whole room needs repainting. You get one nice piece of furniture for a minimalist aesthetic, and within a month you've replaced 6 other things to protect that aesthetic. And retailers know this. It's the entire logic behind complete the look sections, bundle pricing, and matching product lines. A furniture store doesn't sell you a couch. It sells you a couch, then shows you the lamp that goes with it, then the rug, then the side table, each one engineered to make you notice the next gap. They're not creating new desire from nothing. They're handing you the exact spiral Diderot fell into in 1769, just with better lighting and a checkout button one tap away. So here's the uncomfortable question underneath all of this. When you feel that flicker of dissatisfaction, when one new thing makes everything else in your life look slightly worse than it did yesterday, is that your taste improving? Or is it just the oldest trick in consumption working exactly the way it's supposed to? Diderot never stopped being a brilliant thinker. He spent his whole life building one of the great intellectual achievements in human history. And he still couldn't stop himself from replacing an entire room because of one red robe. You bought one candle. The room didn't get worse. You just finally noticed.